And I'm going to welcome everybody to the special edition of Small Business Network and Small Business Network TV. Hello, everybody. My name is Gail Turner Brown, and this is something really, really special. Every once in a while, I come across either some information or a person that I believe is truly special with the knowledge that he can impart, especially as it pertains to either business or wealth building, wealth creation, mindset, all of that. And I have come across such an individual. So I invited him to come on and share what he shared with me because, at the end of the day, we are all about building wealth. We're building our businesses, but, we have to have more than one revenue stream. We've got to be able to build a diversified package of ways of things, of funds coming in. Because I always say we have more than one bill, so we need to have more than one revenue stream, okay? Because any one thing can stop. And I know that very, very, very well. We've just gone through the Great Recession. And, people found out if the only thing they had to rely on was their job, they were out of luck. And they got panicky and scared and all kind of stuff. So I just want to let everybody know that one, like I said, big trouble, big time trouble. So like I said, grab whatever you need to grab to take some notes. And I cannot express this enough. We really, really, really need your feedback to let us know if this is the kind of information that you want to continue to consume. We really, really need that. So, because it's really going to be really important. So, with that being said, this is Mr. Amed. Now, let you say Hazel or Hazel? Because I've been saying both.
Hazel.
Hazel. Okay.
Hazel.
It's a regular old Hazel.
Hazel, yeah.
And for anybody, I don't know. If I said, do y'all know who Hazel is? How many people would know? Because if anybody knows, then I know how old you are. So I ain't going to call y'all out. But anyway. So I want to welcome Mr. Amed Hazel to our platform, and he is going to be sharing a wealth building strategy about note buying. So welcome, Mr. Hazel.
Thank you very much.
All right. So tell everybody a little bit about, give us some background on you. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got to come to this particular space.
So many years ago, I was a firefighter here in Maryland, and through a series of unfortunate events, I got injured on the job. So I could no longer be a firefighter, but I wanted to contribute still. That's in my spirit, to contribute. And I was looking for a way to do so. So my wife and I, we took a local real estate course and started working with homeowners that were in distress and trying to help them out. And we started hearing a lot of stories of the same issues: divorce, downsize, upsize, problems in the home, cutting wages. And, it was really an experience to see me going to someone's house as a business professional, but at the same time, I'm boo-hooing and crying in somebody's living room because of the unfortunate situation that they were in. But what it was really doing was taking a lot of time away from our kids because we were on so many appointments. And I used to tell my wife, stop setting all of these appointments, every single week. We were just nailing it. And eventually, it burned us both out, and we started looking for other ways to continue to contribute and help people, but not kill us in the process.
Okay. All right. So you said you were really killing it. So what what area specifically were you guys involved in?
We started out in Prince George's County, and we were doing a lot of business there. And then the travel time for us, especially being a husband-wife partnership, the travel time for us was so demanding that we just decided to start working primarily in Baltimore. And after working in Baltimore for so long, the competition started getting really crazy, and and everything. So we just kind of pulled back.
Okay. So what happened? What did you do? How did you decide to rectify what was going on?
One friend of ours said, "You guys are really, hammering this business." He said, "You should become the bank because you guys are just, closing deals each and every week," and that stuck, And we would go home and we would talk and we would say, "Well, what would it be like if we, were the bank? Wouldn't that be nice?" And we were really toying with this idea. And one thing that was interesting was we were doing a real estate deal for I don't want to mention his name, but he's a high profile celebrity. And we were doing this deal with him. And his bank, we were negotiating a short sale, but his bank called us up. The president of the bank called us up and said, "We would like to sell you our bank." He said, "I would like to sell my rights in the bank to you for $750,000. And I'm thinking, really? So he starts telling me all about the assets and everything. And I said, "Well, what's the downside?" And he said, "Well, I'm kind of having some problems with the FBI." And I was like, whoa, I don't mess with no boys with three letters behind their name. So
FBI, IRS, CIA.
Right.
Okay.
So I told him that I didn't want any parts of it, that we need to suspend relationships at that moment. I mean, I just don't play with, our American government. So I just told him no. But thinking back on it, though, and more mature now, I would have simply called the FBI and asked them, was it something that I should be involved in?
Okay.
I would have gotten their permission.
Okay. That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, I don't want to call nobody. Nobody like that.
Right.
Like that. Okay. So, all right. So you and your wife were involved in business. I know you also had what's it called? A martial arts. You had a martial arts business, and then you got involved with real estate investing. And now somebody says, "Hey, you want to buy my bank?" So what happened? What did you do, and how did you get to where you are right now?
Well, we would stay up like pretty much all night just talking fanciful ideas, and through doing research online, I came across something that was talking about. It was an article talking about the bank selling its non-performing note assets.
Okay.
And I'm a pretty curious guy, so I started researching and started finding out about buying notes and how the bank's primary portfolio is their note portfolio. And okay, so I don't need to actually become the bank. I just need to have control over the bank's assets.
Okay.
And that's when the light bulb went off. And I still remember when it clicked for me. I got up in the middle of the floor, and for about 30 minutes, I just did this real weird dance, right? And my wife was so angry because I wouldn't say anything, I just danced, and finally when I told her, she just gave me this look.
That's funny.
So it took some time for her to really understand what I was talking about. I guess I was probably speaking in gibberish, but it took some time for her to understand the magnitude of it. The issue, though, was nobody really understood the industry.
Okay.
The banks themselves were like, "Look, we're going through a crisis. We don't know what's happening. We've never priced these assets to the common market before. What would you offer? How would the bid process go? What documents would you sign?" So this was totally new. And even to this day, there are a lot of banks that still don't even know that their own bank will sell off its assets.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so let's back up a second, because I want to make sure I'm totally understanding, and that the people who are listening and watching the replay, that they're totally understanding. So this, as what is his name? Vince Lombardi would say, okay, like this is a football. So what is a note? Let's
Okay.
go with the real basics so that we can really get an understanding of exactly what, George, don't laugh at me, exactly what is it? And because I can't understand, how can a bank not know that it can sell off its own assets? So talk to me about what's a note, what is the asset, and then let's go from there.
Okay, so you can buy, so a note is short for promissory note.
Okay. Right.
And it is one of the documents that you sign when you take out a loan from a bank.
Okay.
And in short, that's it. It's a document that you sign.
Okay.
You agree to pay back the money, and it starts to lay out the terms on how you should pay the money back.
Okay.
So bank, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so banks, so it's a paper asset, and these assets, they don't just sit in the bank. The bank will trade these assets on the stock exchange and now on the open market. So they sell these assets to each other all the time. So if you take out a mortgage, a lot of times you may take it out with Bank of America, and then 6 months into the mortgage, they'll send you a letter saying, we've sold your mortgage to M&T Bank.
Okay. Oh, mine happened within the first 30 days.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
Right. Okay. So we've got, I remember when I bought a house. So yes, you have a promissory note. So now that note is an asset that banks sell, and people can buy those.
Yes. So the paper asset, most people think that their home is the asset. The home is the liability. The paper asset is the thing that acts like cash. So the banks will sell them to each other on the open market. And if that particular note has fallen into the category of being distressed, meaning that the homeowner hasn't been making payments on them, or for whatever reason, again, though it goes back to those issues that we found when we were doing houses. Somebody passed away, somebody lost a job, somebody got hurt. It could be a number of reasons why good people have fallen behind on their note or mortgage payment.
Right.
And when that happens, when that happens, the bank will say, because you're so far behind, it could be 4 months or 5 months behind. The only way that you can make a payment to us is if you pay it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a person may not be able to do that. So
right.
this asset now becomes a distressed asset. Right. And once it's distressed, the bank just wants to get rid of it.
Right. Yeah, you also got a distressed homeowner by that point as well. Right. And so, okay. So now you've got, so as long as a person is paying on it, that's a performing note. When they stop paying on it or they're behind, whatever, that's a non-performing note? Or is that?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a non-performing note. So so in what you're doing, which one is the best to have? As a business person, as an investor, is it better to have a performing note or a non-performing note?
Now, I have a very biased opinion on this.
Okay.
So I'm just going to give you my opinion.
Okay.
This isn't necessarily investing advice. You have to seek a qualified financial investor. This isn't, I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV.
That's right. All right. That's right. See,
so seek the proper guidance. But for me, I love non-performing notes.
Okay.
Because every performing note, or the majority of the performing notes, at some point in time may become non-performing.
Okay.
So the reason that that's important is this: if you're buying from a bank and you're trying to buy a performing note, they may want anywhere between 80 to 95 cents of the value on that note.
Okay.
So if it's $100,000 note, they may want $80,000 to $95,000 for you to purchase that note.
Right.
Now, and that makes sense because if you hold that note for the term 30 years, it's going to amortize to probably $250,000.
Right. Okay.
So it makes sense for the price point that they're asking. But if I'm buying a non-performing note, that non-performing note may sell below 40 cents on the dollar.
Okay. Okay, so I just thought about something. So if a homeowner, you in your house, you got stuff going on, whatever happens, now you a couple days late, now you got a non-performing note. Can I go to my bank and say, can I buy my note?
That would be great if we could do that. Everybody would start.
I'm just asking.
Everybody would start being late.
It's non-performing. I'm like, hey,
right.
So.
Well, they're already under contract with you.
Okay.
So they won't sell it to you.
Okay. They'll sell it to someone. Ooh, could I get somebody else to buy it and then they sell it to me? Ooh. Yes. Okay, this is getting good. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right.
Yes, you can get somebody to purchase that note, and it's if they're willing to negotiate on a note. So not to get real complicated, but sometimes the bank may not be in a position where they can actually sell your note for a number of different reasons. But if they can sell it, to get someone else to purchase it is totally possible.
Wow. So now, will the bank actually just sell like one note? Because I know when I was doing when I was looking at tax liens, for instance, and I don't know if this is still true, but when I was trying to buy tax liens, I know in Maryland, it's like, no, you got to buy like it in bulk. I had to buy like 100 tax liens at one time. Is it like that with notes, or can you actually buy one?
You can buy one, and we call that cherry picking.
Cherry-picking, okay.
Anytime you talk with somebody in the note space, well, let me change that. A lot of times when you talk to people in the note space, they'll say, if they want to keep you out of the industry, they'll say, well, you need $50 million or you need $100 million. Right. It's totally not true. Totally not true. You can buy a note and you may wind up paying $5,000 or $10,000 for it.
Okay.
So you can totally buy a note. You don't have to have tons of cash. And when you're dealing with, a reputable note seller or a note broker or what have you, they won't even try to force you to spend a whole lot of cash. Somebody that's really trying to get you will want you to spend $50 to $100 million.
Wow. Okay. So I want you to define a lot of cash, because you said you don't need a ton of. Okay, so you don't need millions, and so what would a person need, kind of?
I think that so I think that if you have, I would say $15,000, $20,000 that you would like to invest, that's a good place to start. If you have access to more capital, in your 401k plan or self-directed IRA or something like that, the more you invest a lot of times in a particular note keeps you from buying a note that's sick. So this is the way I define it. So you may have a note that has a lot of taxes on the property.
And that,
so we have to account for that.
Wait a minute, a lot of what? Because you kind of blanked out on me.
A lot of
taxes. Okay.
Yeah. So if a note if the house has, let's say, $15,000 in taxes, but the house is only worth $10,000,
right?
Then that may not be a note that we need to look at to purchase, because the taxes we're going to have to pay, and they're more than the value of the house.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
But it depends on your strategy, though. Right. So I'm saying, around $15,000, $20,000, but $50,000 or $100,000 if you want to invest and really be serious about it. You can get really great assets that are really worth the value.
Okay. So part of, I guess, what I'm also trying to understand is, a person you can't just walk into, I can't just go to Bank of America and say, hey dude, you got some notes? I want to buy some notes. How would a person actually even do that? And does it make sense to do it? What would be the process? Help me out.
So walking into Bank of America, asking them, do they sell notes? If they tell you that they do, then they're going to hit you with that, 10, 20 million, $50 million package that they want you to buy. So we don't generally approach those larger behemoth institutions.
Well, I want to tell Bank of America, I want some of my money back because,
right.
I help bail them out. Okay, let me go ahead. I'm just saying, shoot. Anyway, go ahead. Don't get me started.
Yeah. So we approach, we generally approach smaller financial institutions and smaller hedge funds that are willing to sell deals in smaller quantities. And that's the best way. But if you're going to, like a Bank of America, you walk in, my wife and I have done this before. We've gone into banks because we need to make sure our accounts are straight. We go into the bank. We say we want to meet with the bank president. We tell them, this is the business that we're in and what we're doing. And the president says, we don't do that. That's illegal.
Really?
And I say, that's strange because I'm currently doing business with your Philadelphia branch and they're selling notes to me all day, every day. So these people that are conventionally trained, they haven't been able to change and shift with the tide of the market.
Oh.
So they just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't know that the branch can, or their institution is doing. It's like a totally different division that's selling off the notes, and they're not familiar with it.
Huh. Okay. So keep talking. So you are able to approach these banks, get them to sell you their notes. They're non-performing. Now, do you specifically ask for the non-performing ones, or what do you do? How do you do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I definitely ask for the non-performing ones because sometimes they may ask, well, what are you looking for? Are you looking for residential?
Oh, okay.
Are you looking for commercial? Are you looking for construction loans, development projects? They ask, there's so many different categories of notes.
Because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're kind of making my mind is starting to flutter. Because if a note is a promissory note, then that means if a person financed a boat, if they financed an airplane, if they financed a motorcycle, all of those have notes. So can those notes be bought too?
Yes, they all go bad.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, they all go bad. And there are people that buy car notes. They buy them.
Yeah. Oh, okay, go ahead. This is go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm excited.
Yep. So they buy them, they buy the car paper, and then what they do is they'll just hire a tow company. If the notes are in distress, they'll hire a tow company, and that tow company will just start going out and repoing all of the vehicles, and then they start putting GPS tracking devices and ignition shutoff devices on the cars. So if you don't make the payments, they just shut it off where it is.
Right. And all of this time, I thought, I wasn't even thinking in that terms, but like when, again, so in that scenario, if you're late on your car, then they just come and repossess the car. And again, going back to what you were initially saying, the car, it's like the car and the notes are two separate assets, right?
Right. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. I'm getting it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. So and the thing about it though is a car can be moved, but a house can't be moved.
Right. Well, I don't know. I've seen some folks be picking up houses and it's like, okay, no, you ain't, I ain't giving it up.
Right.
But that, okay. Okay. So this is getting good.
So, but again, there you can buy distressed notes on airplanes and everything.
Right. Okay.
So you just have to get into that market, understand who the players are in the market. But once you break into it, then it's all an open playing field.
Yeah, this is. Let me tell you why this is making my stomach do kind of interesting things. Nobody tells you about this though.
Right.
You don't know about this, and so okay. So as you break into this industry, I mean, how would one go about finding somebody that knows about this? Because I mean, it's like anything. You don't know what you don't know. And so we just kind of go along ignorantly. Now you guys happen to, I don't know, I'll use the word stumble, but I know there's really kind of no such thing. There is a vibrational path that always is occurring and that takes place. But but for someone else that's not really thinking about this, how would they know what to do? How would they know how to get into this? Does that make sense?
Yes, and that's really good, because when we started, I'm just sitting around looking at four walls, trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
Like, how do you do something that you don't know how to do it, or even where to start?
Right. Right.
So that process was a very aggravating process. Right. But as I went along and started, I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of opportunities.
Okay.
I was stabbed in the back by a lot of people, but over time I got stronger, and my faith kept me going. That we said, if we ever get on our feet with this, we're going to develop a platform for a person to be able to come into the business, know where to start, get some training, and make a decision themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So initially we said, well, we're going to charge $1 million to train somebody.
Go ahead, Joel. Okay.
So we were like, we're going to charge for it, but, depending on how aggressive someone wants their training to be, and how much they want to dive in and be connected. We have training programs that start at $100,000. The middle level is $50,000, and the one of our basic levels is $25,000. But we also said, what? We're doing real well. We've been blessed, and we can do something a little even better than that. So we decided to do an online platform, and if someone wants to know about it, it's www.notewebinar.com. They can go watch a brief webinar about the program and sign up. It's only $97 a month. You can cancel at any time. There's no long-term commitment. And if it's something that you're really interested in, then we can scale it up based on your level of comfort and how fast you want to move in the program.
Okay, so let me backtrack a minute and kind of synopsize it, if that's a word. If it's not, it's my word. I just made it up, so it's my yes, right. Yes. And I can do that. I'm allowed to do that. So, all right. So yeah, let me break it down. Like, make sure I'm understanding everything. Okay. So there are instruments known as notes that are attached to pretty much any major asset that a person has purchased through financing. Okay, so there's a promissory note. I sell you something, you promise me that you're going to pay it back, and this is the note that proves it. I default or something takes place, and now that note is no longer performing. And since you hold the note, now you have the ability to decide, you're going to take the property, or you're going to sell the note to someone else and let it be their headache, or what have you. And banks, because banks are normally the ones that have a ton of notes, they are willing to sell notes to people who know the strategies to do it, in order for them to get that non-performing asset off of their books. Okay, and because you've been able to tap into this market and you've been able to understand it, you're now willing to teach other people how they can do it. Now, my question would be, okay, like, what is in it for me? Meaning, what kind of money can be made, with this type of thing? If I were to, because basically you're saying you can help people, I guess, in effect, set up a business, or, or set up a cash flow of purchasing these notes. Why would a person want to purchase them? Why would a person want to sell them? And if they, in both cases, what kind of money are we talking about? What kind of cash flow are we talking about?
Okay, good question. So I do a lot of, first of all, I would never have thought that I would have been in this space, that I'm in the financial market space. It's like, that's boring, who wants to do that? I never in a million years would have imagined that I would be in this space.
Right.
But what I'm reading, what I'm watching and seeing is that we have been trained conventionally to serve the wealthy.
Yes, true. That's why we have jobs.
All that we know, they say, well, put your money in a 401k plan.
That's
well,
true.
The 401k plan is controlled by the wealthy.
Yeah, that's true.
And they are clipping that money and clipping that money and clipping it. And they're getting wealthy off of it. They tell you, well, you can't touch it for so many years or you're going to be taxed on it, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's part of their plan.
Right.
So what's in it for the average person to purchase a non-performing asset and work it to get it reperforming is that is the thing that the wealthy do not want you to do. Mm. They don't want you buying assets. They want you buying TVs and cars and things that have no value.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Keep talking.
So when you purchase a non-performing asset, we have a number of different ways to get the asset performing. But once we get it performing, you have just become, quote unquote, the bank.
Okay.
You become the bank. So now the word mortgage comes from the French word mortir, which means death.
Yeah. That's right.
So essentially, though, when you're in that position, you have basically the power and in a sense of life and death over another person.
Wow. Okay.
So it is when you purchase that asset, let's say you put in $20,000 and that asset is paying you $1,000 per month. Okay. So we just need 20 months to get our investment back.
Okay.
And now we have another 28 years to collect on it with interest.
Okay. So.
That is, okay. So that is your, after the 20 months, that is now you've just built a passive income of $1,000 a month that you do not have to work for. So if the hot water heater goes up, whose responsibility is that? Not yours.
Because I just have the paper. I don't have the building. Okay.
Right.
Wow.
So, anything that goes wrong with the property is not your responsibility. So with you got $1,000 of passive income coming now. You have your principal back. And now you have $1,000 income stream. You can take that original $20,000 principal and invest it again and get another income stream coming in. And you can continue to do that, cycle that process. You can do it quickly or you could do it over time to where you now have $30,000 or $40,000 coming in passively that you're not working for.
Wow. Okay. Okay, I just had something to come to my head. Wait a minute. Hello, my darling Gerald. I'm sorry. This is my cuddle buddy. This is just, I just always have to
Yes,
acknowledge him.
Brother Gerald.
Exactly. Okay. I'm just letting everybody know. Anybody in the room, that's my cuddle buddy. Anyway. All right. So now I just thought about something. So if I'm a homeowner and I have a non-performing note, I haven't been paying my bills and somebody's getting ready to throw me out. Okay. And you come along or have come along and you've purchased that non-performing. Now, let me first ask this. Will the bank sell you that non-performing note before they foreclose and evict someone from their home? Or can that non-performing note be purchased while that is still going on?
Yes. So it can, by the time the bank forecloses, it's no longer a non-performing note. It becomes what we call an REO,
okay, right.
which stands for real estate
right.
owned.
Okay. So,
right.
Okay.
But up until that point, the bank will sell it.
Okay. So what happens if I'm homeowner? I got this stuff going on. You Mr. Investor, you've purchased my note from the bank. You've purchased it at a discount because the bank discounted it because it wasn't performing. And now I'm paying you, or I could pay you. Can I pay you lower than what I was paying before?
Yes. So if you came to me and you said, hey, Amed, listen, I can't pay you the $1,000 a month. I need to be able to pay you $650 a month. All right. And especially knowing what I bought it at, I would say, okay, Miss Brown, I just need you to commit to the $650 a month. And if you commit to that, first of all, I need you to sign documentation, but I really need your word. I need to hear you say it. And once you commit to that, then we'll do a loan modification. We can drop your payments. We can drop your interest rates. We can even drop the amount of the total loan that you owe. We can cut you a discount on a total loan. There's so many options that we can do to help people, but we just need you to make sure that you're going to be able to make that $650 a month payment, because we have investors that we have to pay and give a yield to and all of that type of stuff. So if you commit to that, sure, we can drop your payments.
Wow. Okay. So literally now you have the ability that if you readjust it or modify that loan, because you hold the loan, you have the cards, you are the bank. You can make that modification, right, and people don't necessarily have to lose their homes. Versus the person who comes in and says, oh, let's go do a short sale with the bank. Because that's what people are getting when they are, when they're behind, they're getting people saying, hey, yeah, let's go. We're going to do a short sale. Let's do a short sale with the bank. But usually you're not going to keep your house if that happens. So talk to me about that kind of individual, because trust me, when your house is going down, those are the kind of people that you got attorneys calling you saying file bankruptcy. And then you've got investors talking to the realtors or the banks or whomever saying, let's do a short sale. Both of those options, 9 times out of 10, means you losing your house and you can go somewhere else. So how do you get there between those two entities?
Well, once we purchased the note, our philosophy. So my thing is, with me, my company, my wife is my senior VP and co-founder, and we have several other partners. But with us, our strategy is we don't just go in guns a-blazing ready to throw somebody out of their home. That is not our philosophy. So if I come in, I say, listen, you have options. Now you owe $20,000 in back payments. We're willing to forgive that if we can get you started making your regular payments again. Because it's more important for me to have the cash flow of the asset than throwing somebody out of their house. Because remember, we've made the switch from being house thinkers into being financial thinkers.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I don't want the house. I don't want nails, plywood, and all of that's basically all of it is. I want something that's going to be producing an income for me. So I help the person, look, we're going to help you get back on track, and whatever we got to do to help you get back on track. If you're willing to work with us, we're willing to work with you. Now, we can't let you stay there for free because we paid money for it. But if you're willing to communicate with us, Miss Brown, if there's ever a problem that you're having with your mortgage, I need you to call me and tell me ahead of time that you can't make the payment this month. All right. Because if not, if you go dark, I got to put the sharks on you.
Right.
So just communicate with us. Let us know what's going on. My wife recently told me that one of our assets that we had, she got a call from the homeowner, and she said the homeowner was terminally ill with cancer, and she didn't have long to live. And I said to my wife, I said, do a check on it, make sure she's legit with it. My wife said, I already did. Talk to the her family and hospital, and she showed her medical records and all of that. I said, well, don't collect on it. Don't collect right now. Like, the asset is this particular asset. It's not breaking our pockets. It's okay if she goes, another 6 months or 8 months, but I'm not going to spend my time making the last several months of this lady's life hell when I know that she's terminally ill.
Wow. Yeah. And how many Bank of Americas would have done that? That is awesome. Okay. So let's go to the other side of the spectrum. Suppose, you do everything you can, whatever happens. Okay. And you know what? I'm like, look, let's just part ways. Peace out. So now what happens is you end up with the house. What happens then?
So before we actually purchase the asset, we've done our investigative work on it to make sure it was something that we should be investing money in the first place. So the person wants to part ways. They don't want the asset. So they have two options. They can deed the property back to us, and we won't pursue them for any loss on the mortgage note. We'll just take the property back. We'll, go in, paint, carpet, or whatever, and sell the property on the open market.
Okay.
If the person says, well, hey, I don't want to talk to you guys. I'm done. Leave me alone. I'm not signing any paperwork. Then we have to go through filing for foreclosure.
Right. Okay.
And that shows up on a person's credit report and everything like that.
Wow. At that point, it don't matter. Everything else is showing up on their credit report by before that time anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
Right. And that's true. But what we try to do is we try to mitigate those losses that a person will have to go through. We try to mitigate the agony that a person may go through. We try to do what we can do to stop the creditors from calling at that point, because once you start the foreclosure process, and once we started, and I understand what your mindset is, I just basically back off and let the sharks come after you day in and day out.
Yeah.
So we don't like doing that. We don't like being the bad guy that way. So we do everything that we can to try to work with the homeowners and help them out.
Okay. So I'm gonna switch it back to the business aspect. So now I'm Miss Investor Wannabe, and I want to know how to do this. And I want to be like you. I want to grow up to be like you. What would I do? How I mean, I know, so you have the program and everything and you're teaching people, but I still want to get a concept or an idea of, like, how much money could I make because that's always, everybody always wants to know this. If I'm going to do this as a business, what is my potential? What is the potential of this kind of business in terms of money? And how much time is it going to take? Because that's what everybody claims that they're really, really, really short of. And so talk to me about that. How much time will it take, and what is the potential revenue that I could expect if I were to do everything that you tell me to do?
So we got into the business because we were looking to save on time. We wanted more time
with
the family.
You might have to refresh. Okay, go ahead, because you were kind of wobbly there for a minute.
Okay. The one thing that the reason that we got into the business is we wanted to save time and have time for the family. So it doesn't take a lot of time. If you have a cell phone, access to the internet, this is a business that you could totally do all virtually. Once you get it all set up, it's pretty much like a set it and forget it. You don't have to even worry about it. Now, if you're talking about though, if you're looking at, well, I just want to invest in a few assets and have some passive income coming in to kind of offset.
Okay, hold it 1 second, Ahmed. Is everybody else having an issue? I am, but I don't know if it's me or if it's everybody. So can you guys let me know? Like on my side, I see poor internet connection, audio only. Can y'all tell me if that's what you're seeing too? There's a big lag every now and then. Okay. Okay, Ahmed, I might need you to, can you refresh your screen?
Sure can.
Let's try this again. Okay, your sound. Okay, my sound is good. Okay. Oh, and I got to unlock the seat so that he can get back in. Man, this is really fascinating. I'm really not joking at all. This is really okay. Fascinating. Okay, now there you go. All right, there you go. You're back.
So it's scalable. So if a person is trying to just invest in 2 or 3 notes, even like if you have 10 or 20 notes, we take those notes. If you want to be hands off, we take those notes and we put those notes with a servicing company. And the servicing company makes all of the phone calls, handles all of the letters, and keeps track of the day-to-day minutia of the assets. So you can pretty much just be hands off. And it depends on how involved you want to be. So if you decide, well, I want 200, 300, 400 assets, you might want to start being a little more hands-on to keep track of everything and to make sure that you're maximizing your profits. But as far as the amount of money that someone can make, really the sky is the limit. And I say that with no fluff, once you understand it. So here's an example. Think of a good one. So we
and before you say that, I do understand that there is no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
This is, we're not saying this is what absolutely is going to happen. I just want to make that clear. Anybody out there that got those 3 letters that work for any 3-letter companies, just want to let y'all know that. Okay. Just want to say full disclosure. Right. Is not saying this is guaranteed, but I just want to have an idea. If I were going to be an investor, obviously we always want to get an idea, what kind of capital are we talking about we can make, or revenue can we make?
Right. And I'm not even saying that a person is going to be able to duplicate what I've been able to duplicate.
Right.
But for an instance, we had a deal. The lady, we bought the deal from the bank, and the value on the note was maybe like $160,000.
Okay.
But the property value had dropped to $13,000. That was the property value.
Gosh.
And it dropped.
Where was that?
In Chicago.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So,
all right.
So that's the other thing. So because we're in this space, we can invest nationwide. I don't need to see the property.
You just need to know the performance of the note.
Just the numbers. I just need to
Just
know the numbers. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So you can invest nationwide. Some people that are real high level in the business invest worldwide. We don't currently do that because we don't study all of the international markets like that. We like to stay with the U.S.
Yes.
But so you can invest nationwide. So this mortgage had dropped to the property value dropped to $13,000 in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I called up a buyer and said, how much would you give me for this asset? And the buyer said, I will give you $13,000 for it because I want to use it as a rental property. Okay. Deal done. Well, the buyer put down $8,500 and started going through some challenges. I was trying to get it straight in my head. Started going through some challenges, life challenges, and couldn't perform on the balance.
Okay.
So she then deeded it back to us again, and we resold it to another investor for another $4,000. So just look at this one example. We paid less than $1,000 for this particular asset. So where in the markets, what markets currently are delivering those types of profit margins? So I haven't seen any markets that are delivering, 1,200% on, the profit margin. So at any rate, though, imagine if you did that. Somebody says, okay, it's $12,000. He made $12,000, $13,000. Woo, right? But imagine if you're doing that over the course of 15 or 20 assets per month.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
That's what my wife be saying. That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. I could live with that. That's good.
Yeah. So that's the potential.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Woo. All right. So, and I thought about something else, and we've got about 7 more minutes left. So let me ask you this real quick, and then I want to find out how, for those who have an interest, who would like to at least find out some more to determine if this is something they want to explore. But part of there were a couple of things that kind of gone through my mind. One of them was that, so if a person knows of someone that is having mortgage issues, would those be the kind of people that I could say, ooh, Amed, I know someone in California. She's got 2 houses and they are both, threatening to foreclose because she's, got this issue or that issue. Could that happen? That I could say, hey, I know somebody that's get ready to go through foreclosure. She's behind in payments. This is who she is. Could you go and see if you could buy those notes from her individual bank? Could that happen?
Now it could, but again, the bank may not be in a position to actually sell those notes. So those types of notes are really not the low-hanging fruit. Those kind of notes are high on the tree and may take a lot of time and effort to track down the bank, track down the particular asset manager, and then you have to kind of beg them to sell you the note.
So what is the low-hanging fruit then?
The low-hanging fruit are the assets that the banks are offering up, saying, here, these are the assets that we currently have.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your phone? Somebody's getting ready to buy a note. I'm just saying, y'all. See, it's happening.
Right.
It's happening. Okay. All right. So tell us how, if for those people who are listening on the replay or here in the room, or because there are actually a couple people that are viewing that are not in the room. How do we get some more? How do we, because this good stuff to me. I was a real estate investor, and I used to buy abandoned buildings and messed up buildings and dead people buildings. Oh, it was just, I did all kinds of stuff. And but I do remember the last apartment building I acquired, there was no mortgage on it. I got everybody to forgive all of the mortgage, but I remember I got the holder of the note to discount the note. The problem was that it was bazillions of taxes on it, every kind of tax and water lien and all that kind of stuff. It was a mess. But I remember being able to negotiate the note down to like practically nothing. So I know it can be done. I just not in that space, and I didn't know it to the point that you did. So how do people get involved with this?
Okay, so let me just share this piece. So you got several different ways that you can get involved depending on your mindset and your appetite level. So the first level is if you're looking to be like really trained and get information on the space and learn the space, the step-by-step processes, then again, go to www.notewebinar.com, and that system will take you through the step-by-steps. So then you have other people that may say, well, hey, look, I have access to capital right now. I want to get started right now, but I don't have a lot of time to go through a lot of the courses and stuff like that. Then we allow people to do joint ventures with us. So if you have the capital, then we invest the capital. We kind of show you what's going on and take you by the hand as we're doing the deals, keep you in the loop and show you what you need to show. We do the work on our side, and then we split the profits. And in
that scenario, what kind of capital are we talking about? Because that sounds like yet you need more money to invest than the other thing.
No, so we still may be talking around 20,000.
Okay.
20, 30,000.
Okay.
So it just kind of depends on what deals we're looking at the time.
Okay.
The other way that is extremely exciting for me, I want to grab my monitor and just shake my monitor right now.
Okay. Let me brace myself for this.
I'm getting ready to drop the bomb on you right now.
Okay. I'm ready. Right. I'm ready.
So what we did, right? What we did is we set up an investment fund for investors to put capital in. They don't want to do any of the work. They don't really care about what we're investing in. They don't care about all of the daily stuff and talking to Miss Jones and all that. They just want to put their capital in and get a return. Now, with that, though, we were under something called Title II with the Securities Exchange Commission. Okay. And that means that we had to only accept accredited investors.
Okay.
And those people had to meet a certain income level. Okay. So they had to have $200,000 as an individual yearly income, $300,000 as a couple, and either or a net worth of $1 million or more. Okay. So that's kind of the upper echelon of the Title II investment people that we could accept to invest in the fund.
Okay.
But in May, the SEC are finalizing the current rules for something that's called Title III, which is going to allow anybody to invest as long as it's done through a crowdfunding platform.
Oh.
Come on now. This is big.
Oh my God. Okay.
So you may be able to invest as little as $250.
What?
To be part of a huge machine of investing. So, I mean, that is huge because there are going to be Americans dumping trillions of dollars into these platforms now that the government has lightened the restrictions on who can and who cannot invest. They're actually opening the markets up to everybody.
Why?
Because I so want people to get this point. We in trouble, Gail.
like, you in trouble, girl? No.
We in trouble.
Okay.
I mean, our country is in serious trouble, and I'm not making this up. If you can go to FDIC.gov and look through the bank's call reports, and you will see that these banks are millions and millions and millions of dollars holding distressed assets that they just cannot get rid of. And they don't want to release it public just yet, because when they do that, it's going to cause another Great Depression. So it's important for people to start taking their monies and investing their monies into
so I need you to go
instead
back,
of investing their monies into liabilities.
For a second, and you had everybody on bated breath wanting to see what you was going to say. So go back and say that again.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to start at, you said, okay, we're in trouble. You go to FDIC,
where do I need to start?
Then you'll see like all of these, I guess, what bad debt that banks call reports. You see the call reports. Okay, go from there.
Call report, yeah. So the banks, they have their call reports, and they're showing that they're holding millions and millions of dollars of bad debt that they are not releasing to the public yet. Because when they do, if they just open the floodgates, they're going to cause another Great Depression. So they are slowly leaking these assets out, trying to stay above water. I think currently right now there are 324 banks that are on the problem bank list that are in serious trouble. So they don't want the total economy to fall apart. And that's why they push invest in 401ks, invest your money in mutual funds, because they want to try to keep the economy afloat. They really don't want you investing in distressed mortgage notes.
Yes. Right.
Because that takes money out of their pockets. That takes the control from them. So it's important that we understand this. I mean, we're moving to a society, and the United States hasn't hit us with this yet, but other countries are dipping into their citizens' 401k plans and taking the money out and making them buy government-backed bonds. They are also moving toward an economy where they will do no more cash. I really believe it. No more cash, Gail. We're moving in that direction. I remember back in when I was young, I used to ask my mother, what are these bars on the packs of chewing gum? And she say, I don't know. Wrigley started it first. But when they were saying that they were going to move to a system where those bars could be scanned and the price could be rung in, it was kind of like, whatever. But over time, we have moved toward that. And the reason that it's important for them and their benefit to go to a system where there's no cash is because when there's no cash, you can't hide your money. They're going to have total access to it all. So anytime you want to buy and or sell, they will know that where your money is and where it's coming from. And I actually don't hold me to this. I'm an amateur on the Bible, but I believe there's a verse in the Bible that talks about the time where, the buying and selling, you won't have control.
Whatever is below an amateur, I don't know. So, okay, but I believe you. I believe you. That is amazing, though.
So yeah, it's important to get in on some level. Like I said, with the crowdfunding platforms opening up for people to invest, you got to do it. And but if not that way, we have other ways that you can invest. We can do joint ventures. So it's just up to the individual how they want to link up. But whatever you do, anybody, you should definitely link up with us so we can help you get started.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So we put your website in here before. I know the webinar, notewebinar.com. And is there a number or something that you want to share, or an email that you want to share for people so that they can, if they want to email you first or what have you?
Yes, I'm going to type it in for you.
Okay, cool. This is really, I love learning stuff. Okay, Amed at Premier Capital Investment Fund. Okay, because if people want to take advantage of the, like, you know, the crowdfunding platform, I mean, there's a certain thing that you have to do and certain things that you have to know, and to make sure that everything is compliant and all this stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So with Title II, I mean, you can't imagine like the stringencies that they put us through, because they want to make sure that we're not accepting capital from foreign governments that they don't want to do business with.
Right.
They've told us certain people, that certain citizens of certain countries they don't want us dealing with.
Ooh.
So the stringencies for Title II has been just mind blowing. Like, wow, how can we even do business with such restrictions?
Right.
But with Title III, they are lessening those restrictions, but it has to be, you know, through the crowdfunding platform.
Right. Okay. This has really been great. So I'm gonna say once again, for the people who are hanging out and listening to this, can you put a 1 in the chat box if this has been beneficial, and if you would like more information like this, because you know they say, oh well, you know, my good buddy Chris always say, when you know better, you can do better.
That's right.
And so, and as long as we remain, you know, ignorant of it, then we have no idea what to do. Right. So this has definitely been beneficial for me. I want to know more, especially when you mentioned, and I didn't get a chance to ask you, but you know, kind of run out of time. So I want to, you know, we're gonna do this again because I want to understand hedge funds. You know, okay. The gentleman who interviewed Tony Robbins, he mentioned that he had a hedge fund business, or had been with the hedge fund, and it just, you know, rang a bell to me, and I was like, right. I need to understand. I don't understand this. All I know is the hedge fund guys are the ones that made bazillions and bazillions of money. Right. And when everything went down, they still had bazillions and bazillions of money, and right. It was okay. So that's all I know. Yeah. And I really want to understand that, because it sounds to me that there are a lot of ways to generate wealth, and we just don't know about it. Right. And so whatever I can do to help you continue to spread that word, you know, I want to be able to do. So I just wanted to mention that. So so go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I mean, so many of us, we are trained conventionally. We want to be good. We want to listen to our parents. We want to listen to our teachers, and we want to go and be conventionally trained in the sciences that we're taught to be trained in. Again, I would have never thought in a gazillion years that I would be in this space, in this financial space, understanding and sitting down with bankers and high net worth investors that are, you know, gone to Wharton Business School, Yale, Stanford. And I'm sitting at the table with these guys, and we're discussing these assets on a daily basis. Wow. And when I talk, I may use certain words that may make it sound like, well, he's way up there. No, we can break this down and make it really simple for the average person to understand. But we don't, people don't give themselves the chance to understand what we're doing and just hear about it. The first time you hear it, it may not make sense. The right. second time you hear it, it may not make sense. It may take you several times of just allowing your brain to digest it right. for it to make sense. Right. And even, you know, my wife, Rochelle, it took time for her to understand, you know, the process. And I kept preaching it every day. And then finally she was like, oh, I get it. The light bulb went off for her, you know. Yeah. So for the average person that may not be seeing me and living with me on a daily basis, hearing my mouth, it may take you several weeks or several months for it to really click.
Right.
You may be the type of person that may need to see it in action,
Yeah.
So we created going back to your original question that you posed that I didn't answer. We created a group that we meet at the Owens Mills Library.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I don't. I think Rochelle would know the address. I don't know the address. I just show up.
Okay.
So
let me talk to the boss.
Right. We meet at the library, and we just show examples of what we're doing. We're trying to train people. You can ask questions. It doesn't matter to me. I love talking about this. I can talk about it all day.
That's right.
So
one day we tried, didn't we?
Right. So it's something that I try to do to just educate people about the space and get them involved with what we're doing.
Right.
If you may not even have the money to get started in this space, but if you have a mouth and a face, you can go and talk to somebody that does have the money and bring them to us. And then we can negotiate deals and you get paid off of the residual.
Right. Okay. So this is a business, or this is an investment that you can get into that does not necessarily require money, credit, or experience. And you could teach somebody how to do it, and they can go and do it and go start generating residual, so then they can turn that into maybe even going and buying notes and stuff themselves. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Credit is not necessary. Even again, the capital, depending on what exit strategy, if you want to buy and hold, then yeah, you're going to need money to buy and hold. Right. We have about 15 different strategies that we use to liquidate and profit from notes. Okay. So if buy and hold is your strategy, you want to do that, you want to be hands-on that way, then yeah, you're going to need some capital to do that. If you want to invest passively, where you just put your money in and let it work for you, then you can put money in and we'll work it and let it work for you. So if you want to say, well, hey, Amed, I don't really know a whole lot, but there's a guy that I know that's related to somebody that I know or whatever, and he has capital and he's looking for a vehicle to invest it in, then set up a meeting and we could all sit down and talk. And if this person truly understands money and finance, as soon as I start telling them about what we do, they'll know that this is the vehicle for them to invest their capital in.
Wow. I'm really excited. I'm sorry. I'm excited. Because guess what? I have those assets. I got a mouth and a face.
Yeah.
I can do this. I'm just saying. Wait a minute. Okay, right. Yeah, man. This is really been beneficial. It's funny. I always want to do whatever I can to bring value to the people who are here. But I get a lot of value myself. So if you guys didn't get value, oh well, I did. So I'm just saying. But hopefully you did get a lot of value out of it, and we will be bringing you more, because as you can tell, it's a lot. It's a lot to grasp in a very short period of time, and so you've got to figure it. Yeah. And so you've got to be able to get this over and over and over again, so you can really understand it, and then you can determine which direction you want to go.
Well, one thing is, Gail, I've been a martial arts instructor my entire life. And the one thing that I like doing is breaking things down into small components.
Right.
So if someone is really trying to learn, we're on this blab and I can go on and on and on and on.
Right.
And I might be talking, at one level and somebody's like, what is a note? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right. Right.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I just was, talking to myself, but I'm willing to spend time to break it down. I'm willing to show you, put in your hand an actual physical note so you can see and read it and feel it. Right. and show you exactly, okay, now this is where I make this phone call to this person, so you can actually see how it's done and what is said, how I set the relationships up. And if, depending on where you are and what part of the training you want to be in, I'll say, listen, Gail, you know what? You don't even need to make the call. I'll make the call for you. I'll set up with my contact, and this person will take care of you. And if you have any problems, you just call me and let me know. And George Fry was on earlier. Mm-hmm. He's one of the people that I was working with when he first got started. He called me up and he said, hey, look, the attorney said this and the servicing company said that. I said, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. And I called the people up. I said, George is one of my students. I don't know what's going on, but whatever you're doing over there, you better make sure you're taking care of him. And I called George back, and he says, wait a minute, Ahmed, hold on. And he clicked over and he says, let me call you back. So he called me back later. He said that was the attorney that had called and said that he was sorry and that anything that he could do to fix it, he would fix it,
Right.
So, I mean, we're sending these people a lot of business, hundreds of thousands of dollars in business. And they know that if they don't treat my people right, then I'll just send them somewhere else.
Right. Right. So, okay. Wow. This is good. This is really good stuff. So for those of you who are just joining, you're going to have to watch the replay. And I would strongly suggest for you to do so. This is Amed Hazel. He has been sharing with us how we can build a real estate empire if we so choose, or if you just want to make a little bit of money, or if you want to just have a place or another investment vehicle to put your 401k because that's not doing as well as you would like, or something to that effect, then there is an instrument known as notes, and he teaches people how to buy and sell notes and how they can get involved. And so this has been really, really, really great. Really do appreciate it. We will be doing these more so that you can really get a grasp on exactly how to do it, what to do, and how to move forward. And Amed is going to take you step by step, every step of the way, so that you leave no stone unturned, so that there's no reason for you to fail. There's no reason for you to fail. He's taking away every excuse. You don't have to have money. You don't have to have credit. You don't have to have experience. I mean, goodness, you got if you have a laptop and a phone, you could talk. If you didn't even have a laptop, you could probably just go talk. To if you know enough people or get to know enough people, that even works. So, you still got to have a phone because you cannot go to a phone booth anymore. So you got to have something. Bring something to the table.
Bring a telegraph machine with you.
Right. Okay. Exactly. You got to have something, some asset. But this is great. This is really, really phenomenal. I really appreciate you being on here for a special edition of SBN TV exclusive. And we're definitely going to look to set up some more of these and get people knowing. And as Ahmed said, if you are in the Maryland area, he will be at the Owings Mills Library. And what is your next time y'all going to do? What you doing?
It's this Saturday at 9:30 a.m.
Okay, so this Saturday, 9:30. If anybody here is from the Maryland area, Owings Mills Library at what time?
9:30 a.m.
9:30 a.m. So I had to say it one more time. Okay, good. 9:30 a.m. How long does it last until?
For me, I normally go until everybody's tired.
Okay.
But I think Rochelle has a cap on how long she'll let me talk.
Okay, all right. I needed to make sure because there's a couple people that I want to see if I can make sure that they're there. So this is great. So I am going to close this out, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your participation. That's what I thought. That makes sense. Thanks so much for your participation. I can't wait to meet you, Ms. Rochelle, because I know you really are the brains behind all of this.
Yes, she is.
I know. That's just how I go. And really appreciate everybody else that was here. That was I was going to open it up for questions, but I've got to close out because I have another show I've got to do. So So if y'all want questions next time, be here earlier, and then we can ask some more questions. So thank you so much, Amed. I'm so glad I met you, and that you were able to bring this to our platform.
Okay, and let's be in touch soon.
Oh yes, because you all over. So, all right, guys. So I will see you guys later. Thanks again, and I'll also make sure that you get the replay of this so you can post it out to your group. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem. So see you guys later, and I will talk to you probably next week.
Yes.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.